This is Co-op HD1 HD3 Hornsby, radio for people, not for profit. Welcome to Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show. Each week, we explore how your library is more than books. The library is knowledge, technology, and inspiration for our community. Hi, welcome to the show. I'm Kanya Lyons, your host for the day. And on today's show, we're going to meet Youth Services Librarian Raquel Reyna, and we'll discuss her background, the work she does for the Little Walnut Creek Branch of the Austin Public Library, and the families and the diverse community in the Rundberg area who use that library. And then at the end of the show, she's going to tell us about the series of books she's currently reading, which are called the Lunar Chronicles. So welcome to the studio, Raquel.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. So let's start from the beginning. Where are you from?
So originally I am from South Texas, so the Valley as it is known. I'm from a little town called Mission, not as small as it once was. It's actually grown quite a bit. So born and raised there, and then I lived in DFW for a while, and now I'm here in Austin. So kind of traveled all over Texas.
Awesome. I'm also a native Texan. I love hearing about these small towns in different parts of Texas. So were you a frequent library user as a kid?
Oh, definitely. Yes. So thankfully we did have a library. It was actually a pretty good size too for our town. So I did go there quite a bit when I was younger, and all through, elementary and high school. My mom would take us a lot on the weekends. And then when I got older, I spent a lot of summers there. The typical, let me drop off, my teenager and kind of thing.
Yeah, me too.
So, hung out there a lot. And that's where I learned, all about the internet, when it was new and fancy.
Excellent. So what inspired you to become a librarian? Did it have something to do with being at the library a lot as a kid?
Well, actually, no. I've always been a really big avid reader for sure. I actually used to want to be a writer. Oh. So I was convinced that, if I was a public librarian, I could work during the day and write at night. Yeah. And then I was actually also a library assistant in high school.
Oh, cool.
As one of my electives.
So you came to the table with experience.
I did, yes. So I started even then, as a senior in high school. And shelving books and helping people, find the books that they were looking for. And really, I only signed up for it because, I got to do my homework a lot of the times in that class. But actually, it worked out great. And so even just as I was about to start college, I kind of already thought, I think that's something I might want to look into at least, because I knew that I had to get my undergraduate first and then figure out, about my master's. But I guess I was so comfortable in a library setting that I liked the idea of it. So, and it all worked out.
That's so cool. And you focus on teens in your studies. So what was the impetus for you to want to focus on teen services? Yeah.
So I'm a youth services librarian. So I do work with, from babies all the way to teens, but, I would say, teen services is definitely, my preference. I feel like you can do a lot more detailed programming with them. I have story times and all that, but for instance, I get to do a monthly teen manga book club with my teens at my library, which I love. And honestly, I wasn't even that into manga or anime to begin with, but it's so popular with that age range that I am now pretty familiar with it. And so I really enjoy doing that. I also visit the local high school once a month during the school year, because of course right now they're closed. But I get to visit them pretty regularly. And I just really enjoy, setting up a table and having them come and just ask me questions and just promoting, what's going on in the library and just reminding them how close their library is also. The high school's nice. Walking distance from Little Walnut Creek. So
is that linear?
That's linear high school, yeah.
Nice.
And the kids are great. And I love it because they're so used to seeing me once a month. They come and, despite knowing my name, they will still run up to me and they're like, it's the library lady. And they just come and just talk to me about their day. It's great.
Oh, that's awesome. I want to go back just a second. And I think a lot of people might not be clear. What's the difference between manga and anime?
Yeah. So I do always feel like I have to say both. Manga is in relation to the actual literature, the book. Anime is anything that you watch, like a television show or the movies. They even have some on Netflix right now. So that's really the only difference. So usually the manga comes out first, the book version comes out first, and then they create an anime series out of that. So that's really the only difference. I mean, most people kind of use them interchangeably.
The stories are often, and the characters are often kind of the same. But
right. Yeah, exactly.
One is a graphic novel and one is
exactly. It's the same thing
show.
As, just the, books to movies. They just have two completely different names.
Right.
So that's really the only difference is the manga's the book and anime's the actual TV show or the movie that they create.
Awesome. So if you're just joining us, this is Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show on Co-op 91.7 FM and streaming at koop.org. And details about our show are available at library.austintexas.gov/volumes. And we're talking with Raquel Reyna, who is a youth services librarian at the Little Walnut Creek Branch. So can you tell me a little bit? I mean, I guess you kind of mentioned before, a lot of the kids from the high school know you. Can you tell me a little bit more about the kids that come to your book club, like the different teenagers that you interact with?
Yeah. And actually it's been great this summer, because they don't have school, a lot of them will travel from different locations. So I got to meet this one teenager who typically goes to Twin Oaks, which is on the other side of town. So she came to our drawing anime workshop that we had a couple weeks ago, and she's been coming to the book club. Cool. So it's nice that in the summertime when they have a little bit more freedom because they don't, they're not in school, that they're able to travel to the different libraries. So it's been nice being able to meet some other teens from other areas also.
Oh, that's so cool. And so when does the book club meet?
So that's every second Thursday of the month. And speaking of that particular teenager, she was so great. Her mom told me that she kept reminding her, it's the second Thursday of the month. It's the second Thursday. We can't forget. So they remembered and they came.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I'm glad that that's kind of been like drilled into them so they remember when it is. Because, even adults, we forget things all the time. So I try to make it easy. So every second Thursday of every month, and that's at 5:30 because it's typically after school. So
5:30 p.m. And the Little Walnut Creek Branch is on Rundberg, right near the intersection with Lamar.
Yes.
Just for people, across from the HEB.
Yes. Oh, as soon as I say HEB, everybody knows where it is. So we're in a great spot.
I
love that HEB.
Yeah.
They put us on the map.
So can anyone attend those book clubs?
So it is teen manga book clubs. So definitely because of the maturity of mangas and anime, most mangas and animes, because we do have some for younger kids. But these specifically are open to middle schoolers and high schoolers, just because of the maturity level of it. And, it's teens, teenagers. So we want something special for them because I do get a lot of adults asking if they can come.
Oh, I bet.
Very popular with adults. But so we do try to keep it to actual teenagers.
Nice. So
they have that time to meet other teens that have that same kind of interests as they do.
Oh, that's cool. And so, do you get a big group, or does it vary week to week?
It definitely varies. During the school year, yes, it's actually a pretty big group. Like I said, I go to their school, and I remind them that day.
Oh, nice.
It's today, after school. Just come right after school.
That's what teenagers need.
Exactly. So during the summer, it is a lot smaller, but they keep coming, and I think that's great. And they're just kind of hanging out, and we watch the first episode of that anime. We talk about that book, and we even do crafts related to the show and the books. Oh, how
cool.
Like make buttons and fuse beads, like patterns, like perler bead designs.
Oh, how fun.
So they always go home with something brand new. So they get pretty excited.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, I'm sure you have many more stories to share, and we're going to get back to those very soon. We're going to continue our conversation in the second part of the show. But right now, we're going to listen to an excerpt of The Van Show, which actually features Raquel. And so Van is this wisecracking blue puppet who interviews librarians and authors for the library's YouTube channel. And in this audio clip, Van visits with Raquel, and they talk about some of the story time programs and other youth programs that they do at the Little Walnut Creek Branch. And then after that clip, reference librarian Blair Parsons will give us a taste of the upcoming community events happening at libraries all over town. And then we'll get right back to this discussion with Raquel. So,
support comes from B&B Rolfing, located at 300 Beardsley Lane. Rolfing is a holistic system of bodywork which aids in balancing the relationship of connective tissue and the muscular system within the body. B&B Rolfing practitioners Norma and Bree bring the art of balance to clients by improving posture and facilitating ease of movement in everyday life. More at bnbrolfingaustin.com.
You're listening to Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show on Co-op 91.7 FM and KOOP.org. Radio for people, not for profit.
hey folks, I apologize for the confusion. We're having a couple of technical difficulties with some clips, so we're going to get back to our conversation right now here with Raquel. It turns out you are not only a youth librarian, but you're about to be a mother.
Yes.
It's just super exciting. So, like, at what age or when do you start reading to your baby? Have you already started reading to your baby?
Yes. So I'm 36 weeks pregnant.
Oh,
so,
my goodness.
Any day now. Yes. Could happen today.
Right now?
Right now. No. So, no, we've actually been reading to her. It's a girl. Yay.
Yay.
We've actually been reading to her. I think maybe she was like a month old when we started getting some books.
Oh, wow.
We have the great access every day of being around these board books. So no, it's almost every night we read a couple of board books, at least one to her, and it's nice because as I got further along and we'd be reading, I could feel the kicks. So that was really exciting.
Oh, wow.
She's definitely responded. She's definitely going to be a reader.
Yay.
So that's been nice. And also, being bilingual, we've also, been reading in English and Spanish. So already exposing her to all that. I definitely think it's very important to, expose kids to reading, as early as possible. And especially because from what I've read, from what I know, if you read these stories to them in the womb, they can later recognize them.
Oh, wow.
That's what I've heard. So, if we read these books again, it might be something comforting because she might remember them from before. So I just think that's so exciting. So, and we've definitely picked up some great books. Maybe I'm biased, but we definitely pick up some great books from our collection.
And your husband is a librarian also.
He is, yes.
He's even been on the show.
Well, and he's actually the one that, for the most part, brings these books home. He's been great.
Oh, great.
He'll come home. Unfortunately, when he shelves, he comes home with a stack of books, which is great. So no, he's been coming home with a stack of board books almost every week, and so that's been great. Some picture books and all that, and even buying some from Recycled Reads. And so yes, so we have lots and lots of books.
Well, so that's the best. That's the best thing I could hear. So, I mean, for people who may not know, like, why is it so important to read to your baby, like from, before they're born or to the minute they're born until they, go to school?
Yeah. Well,
and even beyond.
Not only, are you exposing them to reading to these different stories with different characters and different people, but they also get to hear your voice, which I think is really important, especially at such a young age, because as they hear your voice and as you're speaking these words to them, they're picking up this vocabulary. I'm a big advocate of avoiding so-called baby talk.
Yes,
because and I have nieces and nephews, and I've always believed that the the bigger words that I use with them, the better their vocabulary would be.
Absolutely.
And it did. It absolutely worked. My oldest niece is 11. And when she was little, she'd always ask me, what is that word? What did you just say? And I said, well, let me tell you.
Well, that's the beginning of the curiosity for
exactly.
learning
She's
and
a
reading.
Huge reader. She's a huge reader. So that's my plan for this one. So yeah, I think it exposes them to different stories and especially different cultures. You should definitely pick up a variety of books. But yeah, it just exposes them to that vocabulary, and they pick it up a lot faster and a lot easier. And especially if you're reading in different languages as well.
Yeah, I've heard people say they think, it might confuse them. We don't want to read to them in more than one language, but it's quite the opposite. It actually expands their brain.
Yeah,
and the
exactly.
more
The younger they are, the easier it is for somebody to pick up a language. Now, with us as adults, it's a lot harder for us to learn a language than it is for a toddler to learn a second language. So we're definitely going to try to expose her to as many languages as possible.
That's so cool. I worked at a preschool where we did language immersion in Spanish and French. And most of the kids their native language was English. So by age 2 and 3, they were speaking 3 languages and reading. And
That's
I mean, it's
great.
really just about spending the time doing the work. And so you guys, you mentioned that you've taught an early literacy workshop called Play, Read, Grow, which teaches parents how to read to their children.
Exactly. So it talks about the importance of reading to their babies. Specifically, it is for the program is more for infants and toddlers to express the importance of talking to your child and exposing them to the language and the love of reading, because a lot of people sometimes will say, why should I talk to my baby if my baby doesn't talk back to me?
Right.
But that's exactly why you should talk to your baby.
So they will talk back to you.
Start talking back to you
in more ways than one.
Yes,
I have a 13-year-old.
Yes, exactly. But they'll use big words when they're talking back to you.
Yes, and that's what we want.
Yes, they'll have a great vocabulary when they're, fighting back.
But yeah, even imaginative play and singing songs, all those things help them learn to read and to use words.
Writing, just exposing them to all of that is really important. Yeah, and like you mentioned, the singing as well. It's very similar to the reading. You're just adding music to it, which from what we know about studies is an easier way for people to remember certain things that when you're little, they always tell you to put the words to a song so you can memorize something for a test.
Oh, absolutely. I still remember there's just a lot of things that way. 1845 is the year Texas got its independence because I think of a 45 anyway.
There you go.
Weird little things. But yeah, the singing, that's why there's so many nursery rhymes. That's a way that,
Schoolhouse Rock, those classics. I was a big fan of Schoolhouse Rock, and I still remember those songs.
So if you're just joining us, this is Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show on Co-op 91.7 FM, at koop.org. Show information is available at library.austintexas.gov/volumes. And we're talking with Youth Services Librarian Raquel Reyna, and we're about to start talking about... Let's talk about your community. Well, the community where you work, the families and the diverse community over at the Rundberg neighborhood. So, you were telling me that you do outreach to the schools in the area, and that the kids know you by name. You go there every week. Do you go? Do you go to the other schools as well, or?
Yeah. So like I said, with the high school, I do go once a month.
Once a month.
Thankfully, it's just worked out that way because I understand, very busy. Schools are very, very busy. So I do try to go pretty regularly to the elementaries. And I am in an area where there are a lot of elementaries just within walking distance.
Oh, wow.
I would say within walking distance, there's at least 2 or 3. Quite a bit. We're a bus stop also, so several people can take the bus from their school to our library. So there are quite a bit of schools in the area. It is predominantly Spanish speaking, but there are so many other cultures as well in that area alone. So thankfully, I do get to interact with a lot of different diverse cultures and families. So I do try to go there about, right as the school year is starting, in the middle of the school year. I go to a lot of their, they have like fall festivals and PTO nights, and especially when it's, right in May. That was pretty much my whole month in May, was visiting a lot of schools to
nice.
remind them that the library is open in the summer. Yes, exactly. Summer reading, but also just that we're open in the summertime.
Yes.
Their school libraries are all closed, or they may have summer school for just a couple of weeks. And so I like to remind them, that while their school's closed, we are open, and they're welcome to come in, and we have, expanded hours,
That's fantastic.
So, yeah, because,
So I'm going to interrupt you. We're going to actually continue talking a little bit more after this, but we do have that audio clip ready. So this is an interview with Raquel on the Van Show. Again, a Van is a blue puppet who likes to interview librarians and authors.
Hi, Miss Raquel. Thanks for showing me around the Little Walnut Branch. Boy, this is a big branch. They've got lots of stuff here. Lots of books. They got lots of computers. They've even got special language sections from all around the world. This one over here, this is the Asian language section. How cool. They've also got lots of books in English and a cool kids area. This is where you can find kids' movies, kids' books, and they've also got kids' books in foreign languages. They've got books in Spanish and lots of other world languages. Over here is Miss Raquel's desk.
We're here today at the Little Walnut Library talking to my friend, Miss Raquel. Say hi, Miss Raquel.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
Awesome.
Well, Raquel, can you tell us what kind of programs you do here at the branch for all the kids?
Oh my goodness, lots and lots of programs. Let's see. I have Minecraft Club once a month. I do Lego Lab once a month. And for those, Lego Lab is definitely all ages. We play with some Legos. We watch the Lego movie. And then I also try to do something like a special program once a month. So for instance, yesterday I had Chinese New Year.
Oh, hot dog. And what year is it this year?
It's the year of the rooster.
Cock-a-doodle-doo. Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about your story times?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have story times here at Little Walnut on Thursdays. It's pretty cool because ours is what's called dual language. So it's a little different from a bilingual story time. So dual language is that I read one whole book in Spanish, one whole book in English. And then we do a whole song in Spanish, a whole song in English. So it's kind of an easier transition between the two languages. And then I always do one song that's in Spanish, English, and sign language.
Ooh,
Yeah.
What song is that?
That's the more we get together.
Do you think maybe you could sing it for us?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah, of course.
I love that.
We could do it in English and do the sign language sign, so I can show you how to do it. So
Okay.
The more we get together, together, the more we get together, the happier we'll be. 'Cause your friends are my friends and my friends are your friends. The more we get together, the happier we'll be.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, and all the kids are so happy after we do the song. So it's a
And
great
they learn
song.
sign language, too.
Yes, exactly.
How cool is
exactly.
that?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And then we always do a craft afterwards. And they get a little sticker once they're done with their craft. So pretty awesome.
Very nice. That sounds like so much fun. So you do those story times here, and those are all ages story times. That's right?
all ages, yeah. So everybody is welcome. Everybody is welcome to come
Very
to that.
cool.
Whether you speak English, whether you speak Spanish, whether you speak something else entirely, everybody is welcome to come to the story times.
The promo you're about to hear is a collaboration between the Austin Public Library's Rooster Teeth's Elizabeth Maxwell and teen library patron Madison.
Oh dear, I've lost the white rabbit again. Where am I now?
Hey, are you lost too?
Oh, hello. Yes, I'm afraid I've lost my way. Who are you?
That caterpillar there just asked me the same question. Anyway, hi, I'm John.
Hello, John. I'm Alice. Are you from Wonderland too?
Nah, just visiting like you. Pretty neat place, huh?
Uh-huh. So, you're not mad then?
No, but you might be. This dream of yours is pretty crazy.
Dream? I'm dreaming?
Oh, sorry. Spoilers. Looking for adventure? Your Austin Public Libraries have pages upon pages to fall into. And with the summer reading program, there's even more to explore with exciting events and cool prizes. Adventure begins with the book this summer at Austin Public Libraries. More details online at www.austinsummerreading.org.
My name is Blair Parsons, and I'm a reference librarian at the Falk Central Library. Each week, I highlight a few programs for adults that are happening around the Austin Public Library. Our full list of programs may be found on the library's events calendar. Tonight, Wednesday, July 19th, the Graphic Novel Book Club meets at 7 o'clock at Joe's Coffee downtown. Joe's address is 242 West 2nd Street. The Graphic Novel Book Club will discuss Julie Moreau's Blue is the Warmest Color, a coming-of-age and coming-out story. The Graphic Novel Book Club meets the third Wednesday of each month at 7 o'clock. Friday night, July 21st, the Ruiz Branch Library will host Adult Hoppy Hour. Local group Tiny Tales to You will bring 25 animals to the library for a petting zoo, and artist Rita Wang will teach a gnome home sculpting craft. The event is for folks 18 or older. Adult Hoppy Hour will be at the Ruiz Library, Friday, July 21st, from 7 o'clock to 8:30.
This is Ann Minner, Youth Librarian at the Old Quarry Branch. I get to highlight something special happening for families this week. Nothing bolsters a child's self-esteem more than to spend time with someone who plays with them, listens to them, and generally enjoys their company. Playing board games together is the perfect way to spend unhurried, enjoyable time together. Board games are also rich in learning opportunities. They satisfy players' competitive urges and offer great opportunities to master new skills and concepts, such as number and shape recognition, grouping and counting, letter recognition and reading, visual perception and color recognition, eye-hand coordination, and manual dexterity. Board games help players practice important social skills, such as communicating verbally, sharing, waiting, taking turns, and enjoying interaction with others. Board games can actually lengthen a child's attention span by encouraging the completion of an exciting game. The Falk Central Library hosts an evening of all things board games Tuesday, July 25th from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Patrons may play one of the library's 30-plus games or bring their own favorite. More details about family-friendly programs at the Austin Public Library are at library.austintexas.gov/events.
Hey there, Austin. Teen Program Specialist Michael Harley from the Downtown Falk Central Library here. As our summer programming winds down here at the Austin Public Libraries, we're sending Teen Summer Reading out with a bang. After 5 events exploring the behind-the-scenes workings of fandom culture with the That's So Fandom demos and workshops, we're wrapping things up with our That's So Fandom Ultimate Showdown. Attendees are welcome to dress up in their finest cosplay for our cosplay costume contest, warm up their vocals for a double-long videoke, and study up for Fandom Jeopardy! Snacks will be on hand, and we'll also be showcasing some of the projects our teen patrons made during the summer workshops and demos. The That's So Fandom Ultimate Showdown will be taking place on Saturday, July 22nd, from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. at the Carver Branch, and is open to teens ages 13 to 17. More details for these and additional programs can be found at library.austintexas.gov/events. More details for Teen Summer Reading can be found at austinsummerreading.org.
Start your weekend with the Dead every Saturday at 9 a.m. with Graveside Service, the show of music and fun about dead celebrities. Heard only on your community radio station, KOOP, Hornsby, Austin.
Welcome back to Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show. And we just got through hearing about all the different events happening all over the library system, things for adults, things for teens, things for kids. And then we got to hear from DJ Harris about the Graveside Service. And now we're going to get back into our discussion with Raquel Reyna, who is a youth services librarian over at the Little Walnut Creek Branch. And welcome back.
Thank you.
And so we were kind of, I just had one last question to ask you about sort of like your job and what you do. You mentioned that you're involved in the Restore Rundberg initiative, and I was just curious to know more about like how the library is involved with that and how you're involved with that.
Yeah, so the Restore Rundberg initiative, well, the group meets about once a month, and so it's all local business owners and community leaders, and we just kind of discuss what we're doing out in the community and how we can work together for some of those events and to also help promote each other's events as well. So, Restore Rundberg is all about revitalizing the area that we're in and definitely opening it up to the very diverse community that we have. And, the Restore Rundberg initiative, it's all about revitalizing the area that we're in and definitely opening it up to the very diverse community that we have. And, the Restore Rundberg initiative, it's all about revitalizing the area that we're in and definitely opening it up to the very diverse community that we have. that particular area in Austin is home to a lot of recent immigrants, which so it's very important that they know what kind of resources are available to them. So that's part of that initiative is helping them to discover where those resources are and to help them with that.
Yeah, they may not know what the library has to offer. Unfortunately, we're a little short on time, so I just want to thank you so much for coming here. And I guess we have to have you back on because there's obviously more to talk about that we didn't get to. She has a book recommendation. It's on the library's website. The URL is library.austintexas.gov/volumes. She recommended a series of books that
and it is
really
becoming
great.
a movie. I'll just throw that in.
And what's the name of the series of books again?
The Lunar Chronicles
The
by
Lunar
Marissa
Chronicles.
Meyer, yes.
Thank you for sharing, and thank you for coming. And that's all the time we have today.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show. Special thanks to our producer, DJ Harris, and to the musicians who composed and performed our original theme song, Andrew Noble on violin, Kirk Duvall on guitar, and Mike Wheat on percussion. And thanks to you, our listeners. Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show, airs Wednesday afternoons at 2:30 on Co-op 91.7 FM and KOOP.org. If you catch us mid-show, full episodes and other details can be found at library.austintexas.gov/volumes.